Once again, Zebec has come out with some amazing news regarding its crypto partnerships and just the future. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we're talking about the one, the only, you guessed it, Zebec network. You know me, I'm super high on this crypto. I believe this crypto project is going to absolutely destroy so many other cryptos and it's going to do really well, which we also will talk about its future price action in the short term, the long term, and the final price prediction. We can see, ladies and gentlemen, as covered in yesterday's spaces, right? With HCM, we're excited to announce our stablecoin payroll joint venture, right? Asher is working with Zebec Network to build a stablecoin payroll tool for its 4 million customers across the US. Together, we'll be working hand in hand to bring the power of stablecoins and streaming technology to Asher's industry leading HCM software platform. So, once again, Zebec Network has come out with another W, okay, another win. This crypto is on fire. This crypto is the future, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so high on this crypto. I tell you, this is one of my highest conviction cryptos in the whole entire crypto sphere. Truly, I tell you. Look, man, they are consistently having some type of partnerships. They are consistently making waves. They're consistently getting listed on exchanges. They're consistently innovating the game, right? They are the definition of innovation. Okay. Where else do you know you're going to be getting paid in real time? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the future. Like this, what you're looking at is literally the future. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm super excited to be breaking down the technical analysis and everything that comes with Zebec. Look, ladies, look, yeah, no excuse. A Kraken, Coinbase, Binance, you're leaving capital on the table. That is 100% true. That is literally 100% true. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes with Zebec and why they're not listed yet. You know, sometimes these exchanges want a certain amount of coins or money or both or some other stuff. And, they come into a disagreement. But at the end of the day, you got to remember these listings like Binance, Coinbase, and Kraken are going to be much smaller and are much smaller than what Zebec represents. You know, if we're some type of meme coin and, these exchange listings would have been so much more impactful. But we're not a meme coin, right? We are not a meme coin. We are the real deal. So at the end of the day, something like Binance, Coinbase, and Kraken, yes, it's very nice to have, especially on your resume, especially, to get a little bit more volume and get to a little bit more customers. But at the end of the day, we don't need them. They need us. And that is the reality of this situation. We can see a lot of people are excited. We're going to see 22,000 views almost in just 5 hours. So, ladies and gentlemen, I expect things to be, I expect things to look really good in the near future. I'm just going to like some of these tweets because, it does help with the algorithm. If my like, helps get more exposure to maybe even like 100 more people, for me, that's a W, right? Remember, guys, it only takes literally 2 seconds to click the like button. So, yeah, even videos like this, anyone that covers Zebec, they are helping. All of us are helping. The people that comment, the people that watch, the people that like, all of us are in it together. We're a bunch of ants. But remember, a colony of ants. Oh, a colony of ants that can do some serious destruction. Anyways, listen, we rank 152 out of 9,498 active cryptos, 380 million market cap, 15 million volume. So volume has been on the lower end, but that is fine, ladies and gentlemen, because I am going to be talking about a potential breakout that's going to be happening with the Zebec network. We can see, ladies and gentlemen, that we have actually gone down 2 holders. There was a day where we actually lost 2 holders, but that's fine because I expect for us to do very well. We can see we're already up 40 holders. So anytime we have a slow day or a net negative, in terms of holders, it doesn't matter. One day is just going to destroy any type of little minor loss we had. We've been consistently growing, ladies and gentlemen, almost at 83,000 holders. And I wouldn't be surprised by Tuesday or Monday even if we already achieved that. Ladies and gentlemen, the time to get serious is now. The next few months are going to be the most crucial time of your lives. Okay. We're going to have crypto exploding. And this is the time to get a portfolio review right? You got to make sure you have the right cryptos. You don't want any old or dead coins, or you don't want anything that can give you little profits, right? So we provide a portfolio review. We've also been smashing it with the high probability meme coins. We hit an 11x, an 8x, and 5.5x in recent times. We also provide a weekly report on the crypto data, on the crypto analysis, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, on other altcoins as well. You get all this and a bunch more other benefits. Highly recommend joining the private community. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some money. So look, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be looking at the technical analysis. Look, man, we are consistently looking to be going up, generally speaking. We are also in a tricky position. Why do I say that? Well, ladies and gentlemen, right, we have this kind of trend line like this, right? When we do something like this, it doesn't have to be literally perfect to the T, but this one's quite accurate, right? This one is quite accurate. Boom, there we go. Something like this. There we go. So we can see we're touching multiple points. But what do I also see? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I see we are consistently rising, rising, rising. And even yesterday, we still technically created a higher low. So we are running out of time. We are running out of time. We might see Zebec network be a little bit slow the next few days, but that's fine. Or we might see Friday explode to the upside. Ladies and gentlemen, before Zebec went on a nice rally, right before Zebec went on a nice rally, look, it was slow for a couple of days. The Friday, the Saturday, Sunday were all slow. The next weekly candle happened. Boom. Look what happened. It just broke out of this range, right? Then we retested and then we continued to dominate. So, ladies and gentlemen, I feel like the time is soon. I feel like the time is soon. If we do see, for some reason, any downside momentum, it is going to be extremely short-term manipulation. Extremely short-term manipulation. But yeah, we also had the federal rate cuts that went in our favor, right? They went in our favor. And ladies and gentlemen, it is said that we should have 2 more rate cuts by the end of this year. For sure, one's guaranteed. 2 is a little bit of a question mark, but still a decent probability. Which means, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be pumping. There's no other way to say it. We're going to be pumping, right? And the project itself, Zebec, right? It's absolutely fantastic, okay? It is absolutely fantastic. It literally is like one of a kind. All right, once again, if we do see any sell-off, it is short-term manipulation. Do not get baited. If anything, you'll have a higher, or sorry, you have an opportunity to purchase Zebec at a lower price and dollar cost average for one of your final times. And yes, I say one of the final times because, ladies and gentlemen, we go and look at this chart over here, we can see altcoins, even though they've been going up and down, right? This is the altcoin chart. Look, we are breaking out of this zone. We are expected to see some type of gains in altcoins over the next 2 to 3 weeks. So, ladies and gentlemen, right, we aren't down here like we were back in June, right? This is literally June. Okay, June was a little bit scarier. July and August sure were slow, but look, we are recovering and altcoins are set to explode. And we've seen insane momentum in the past. But the reason why we're not having insane momentum right now is because we're being fundamental. We're going to start seeing insane momentum once we start getting out of this huge zone. Once we start pretty much going past these highs, we should start seeing insane momentum with altcoins. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be some of the most exciting times of your life. Zebec network to the damn moon. That is ultimately it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy. I do believe Zebec network will hit. Ladies and gentlemen, I know this sounds crazy. I know this sounds crazy, but 40 cents. 40 cents. Give it to me, ladies and gentlemen. 40 damn cents. That is going to be only roughly 35 billion market cap. This crypto is much better than some of the other cryptos that I believe are going to hit between 35 and 45 billion market cap. So who says no? Who says no? The technology is there. The partnerships are there. The money is going to be there. The innovation is there. This crypto is still such a hidden gem. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm super, super excited to see the future of Zebec network.